Hello and welcome everybody to the very first episode of My Memories of Being a Wrestling Fan. So, yesterday I thought about the fact that I have so many funny and interesting memories of being a wrestling fan, and why not share it with some people who might be interested? One or the other at least. So, as you can see here, this is a magazine that covers the fight of Rhino and Kurt Angle. I believe that was Final Resolution 2008. I don't really remember anymore and I don't think it is very important. But this magazine was printed in February of 2009. And 2009 was also the year when TNA came with a tour to Germany. That's right, TNA came to Germany. Even though they couldn't fill their halls in America, still they thought maybe they could attract some people in Germany. Boy, they were wrong. But that is not what I want to focus on today. I want to focus on the story how I met or not met James Storm at this TNA First Impact Tour. So, in the end of the event, I expected some wrestlers to come out and maybe give some autographs. This was my second live event in wrestling, ever. I was in 2007 at a WWE event, and I didn't have that much experience. So I just stood there and waited. And, oh wonder, James Storm came out. And he gave people autographs. And I saw him, and I was totally going crazy in my mind. But I had a little problem. At that time, I was 14, or maybe 15, like 14 or 15. And let's say I was an angsty teenager, and I also was pretty shy. So I saw Storm before everybody else. I swear, I saw him when nobody was there. And I talked to my father. My father was with me at the event. And I said to my father, look, there's Storm. And my father went, well, then go to him. Ask him for an autograph. Ask him for a photo. I was like, no, maybe he's just standing there. Yeah, the most logical thing. He's just standing there for his own entertainment and looking and waiting for people to come. And finally, one or two people went to him. And my father said, now go. And I went to James Storm. When I reached him, there were like 2 or 3 or 4 people. Not a lot of people. And remember, there were only like, let's say, 300, 400, 500 at max in this arena. So I had a pretty good chance of getting an autograph from him when I was in 5th in the row. The problem was, first of all, there was not really a row. There were people pushing and a lot of fighting to get to Storm. And I always had problems with pushing others away and, getting in front of the line, cutting the line, even though if there is no line. So, yeah, I was 4th or 5th who was at Storm. And then he gave autographs and took photos, gave autographs, took photos, maybe like 10 minutes. And if I remember correctly, out came JB, Jeremy Boresh, and told Storm to get backstage. And there were 3 people who didn't get an autograph or a photo. And one of them was me. So obviously, 15-year-old me, or 14-year-old me, was pretty heartbroken. And my father was telling me, why didn't you go? Why didn't you cut the line? Why didn't you... Well, I didn't even need to cut the line. Why didn't you just defend your position in the non-existing line? And, I loved Beer Money. I mean, to me, the best tag team in TNA were the Guns at that time. I loved the Motor City Machine Guns. I love them till this day. But Beer Money was close second for me. I also liked LAX very much, but I think Beer Money was number 2 in my ranking. Of course, I was pretty heartbroken, therefore. Now, I went back home, and I was very angry with myself. TNA would come to Germany 1 year later again, but at that time I wasn't a fan of TNA anymore, because, as you can imagine, I was not really interested in seeing the Nasty Boys wrestling Hulk Hogan or whatever. I only watch TNA mostly for their own guys. And maybe Kurt Angle and Rhino, I love these guys too. But you know, most for their X Division talents and stuff. And therefore, I wasn't really into the 2010 product. So I didn't went to the 2010 live event. Also, it was in the different part of Germany. It was like a 6-hour drive. Maybe if it was in like, again, in North Rhine-Westphalia, I would have went to the show, but it was in Berlin, and I didn't go there. So I thought, I will never get this autograph by anyone from TNA. So, 6 years passed. These days I'm more of an independent wrestling fan. I watch PWG, WXW in Germany, ROH, and stuff like that. I follow WWE a little bit and TNA a little bit, but just on the side. And in Germany, there was this event from WXW called Superstars of Wrestling, where they fly in, you know, famous wrestlers from back in the day, or even more recent. For example, this year there was Juvi, Juventud Guerrera, Ultimo Dragon, Yoshihiro Takayama, etc., etc., X-Pac, and even more guys. One of these superstars was supposed to be the Sandman. But the Sandman couldn't leave the US because he had some legal things going on. And it seems he didn't know that he wasn't allowed to leave the US until like 1.5 weeks before. Yeah, that's like old school ECW stuff. And guess who they flew in instead of the Sandman? You guessed right, the cowboy, James Storm. I was super happy when I realized this. It's not like I pondered my whole life about the fact that I didn't get my autograph from James Storm back in the day, but, you know, it was like the cycle closed. You know what I mean? So, a few weeks ago, yeah, it was a few weeks ago, I got my photo and an autograph by James Storm, and I told him the story and he apologized, and I don't even know why. It wasn't his fault and I told him so, but he was super cool and super nice, and right now I'm going to show you my autograph. Sorry that it is so blurry, but there in the upper left corner, drinking a beer, the autograph of the cowboy from Tennessee, James Storm. As you can see, I still have to meet quite a few guys from the TNA roster. I already met Chris Sabin, but to be honest, I totally forgot about this magazine, and I really didn't think about the story anymore until I saw that James Storm will be in Germany instead of the Sandman. So, I finally got my autographs. 6 years in the making. The cowboy James Storm meeting me. Maybe a bit more the other way around.